Hi guys and welcome back to the channel. In the last episode I tackled the paint on the inside of the Mira and I've unmasked it and I've done some other bits, so let's check it out. So now the interior's all unmasked, I can really see if this hard work has paid off, and particularly these areas here around this sticker, and there's another sticker here, and I had to do some blow-ins to actually get the paint to blend in. So I did actually forget to explain this process in the last video, so I'll do that now. What it was is this area here is the old paint and up here is the new paint, and what I was trying to do is keep these original stickers. So what I actually had to do is blend the paint from the old to the new and along this area here as well, and it's the same on the other side here, just a blend here and a blend up here. So these areas here are actually original. So what I did is I had a loose flap of paper around here, so I was just flicking the paint downwards as I was spraying, and it was the same with the lacquer. So around this area here I needed to do a blend, and what I did is I used this product here. It's a blend spray or a fade out spray, whatever you want to call it, and basically as it was drying I just sprayed a light coat around this area, and it does actually help to blend the old paint into the new paint, and I think it's done quite a good job. So although I was only painting up to this area here and this is the original paint, what I did is I did actually lightly scotch it further back and then put the blend across here, and what I can do then is just polish the whole area, and it should make it less noticeable. And now it's all painted and dry, I can really see that this panel here, the one that was originally all scrunched up and then we've repaired it, has actually come out quite nicely, and it's the same for the other side here. And so I was waiting for the paint to dry. What I've actually done is I've just scrubbed up and prepped this handbrake lever and re-sprayed it in black. It did have lots of marks and chips at the side there, and these little covers and brackets, what I've done is clean them up and just give them a light coat of zinc. So what I've also done is I've taken the masking off the wiring loom there, and this area here is not actually clipped down or anything. It's actually just supported by a flappy bit of soundproofing there, so it's pretty much no good. So what I'm going to do is just replace it with a new bit of soundproofing just to protect that wiring loom from the foot area. So there you go, just a flap of soundproofing there to secure the wiring to the floor. Very simple but effective. So another thing I've done ahead of time is the area down here that was repaired on the driver's door. I've actually just run a bead of sealant. That's how it was originally finished, so that's the route I decided to take. Just a bead of sealant around those edges, just where the seams meet. And also just on the bonnet where we did the repair on the front there, the sealant had actually melted away. So I've just done quite a chunky bead of sealant around there. That's actually how it was originally finished. And also I've just packed out these areas on the panel where it is kind of the inner skin attaches to the outer skin. And I've left it quite gloopy because yet again, that's actually how it left the factory. So in a professional paint shop, they would have enough room and the equipment to hang the separate panels on panel stands and actually paint the whole vehicle, the doors and the boot, the bonnet, wings, etc., all at the same time. Unfortunately, I don't have the equipment to do it that way. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to spray the inside of the boot, the bonnet, the inside of the doors, and any areas that are going to be difficult to get to first. And then what I'll do is I'll hang the doors on the car along with the wings and the bonnet and the boot and just paint the exterior. If I can hang all the panels, the exterior panels, and paint the exterior all at the same time, I'm less likely to have areas of imperfection and patches or areas where the metallic doesn't quite meet up. So when prepping metallic paint, and this is only from my personal experience, I want to be using something like an 800 grit paper. If it was a solid color, I'd probably say you could go to about a 600, but metallics tend to be a little bit opaque and you can actually see scratches. So anything that's coarse, you'll actually see scratches through the clear coat after you've finished it. And some of the areas are going to be really awkward to get to with a sanding block or any kind of paper. So what I do is I use a light scotch and I just rub these areas best I can. Any areas that I've actually rubbed through the original paint, then I'd actually put a light spot of primer on those areas and then just flat those off before it gets painted. So there you go. I'm going to attempt to paint the inside of these panels. So let's get cracking. So I've almost finished prepping this area, but I did have to spend some time picking out some kind of weird insect nests that have they've settled inside these areas of this tailgate. Also, you may notice there's a piece of string here and down here as well. And what I do is, when there's a wiring loom that runs through a panel, before I remove it, I just tie a bit of string to it, pull the wiring loom through and leave the string or wire in the place. And then what I can do is just tie it to the end and feed it back through again, nice and easy, using that piece of string. So that's the inside of the tailgate, pretty much prepped up with the paper and the scotch, and also some bare metal areas underneath the hinge areas. I've just put a bit of primer along with a bit of bare metal rub through here, and as well as that, I've just put some sealant on the tags on the back here that join the outer skin to the inner skin, as they were a little bit flappy. So under the bonnet area, I'm pretty much going to attack it in the same way. I do have some old labels here that I'll have to remove, and some old glue there left over from some kind of foam that sat over here, and as well as that some burnt areas from when I did the repair on the other side. So yeah, I'm just going to get on with that. We'll just key it up, and yeah, let's see what happens. So you guys might be wondering why I heated up and removed these stickers so carefully. They're actually quite important. I mean, this particular one here gives me the specifications on the actual emissions, but this one here is actually the one that I really wanted to save. I did take a photo of it before I actually tried peeling it off, but it's actually to do with the servicing, about air cleaner replacement, engine oil replacement, timing belt replacement, but more importantly, it actually has the valve clearances on here, and also different types of spark plugs, alternative spark plugs. Oh, and also timing. So these areas of foam that have long gone have left the adhesive on the panel, and it's quite difficult to remove. So what I've been doing is just soaking the adhesive with standard thinners, and then I've just been using an old filler spreader just to scrape off the adhesive and then just giving it a wipe off. I mean, doing it this way instead of sanding it means I have very little prep work to do. So all I need to do is scotch this area off and it's ready for paint. If I did use a sandpaper or something like that to remove it, I'd be putting lots of scratches in there and it'd be more prep work. So it did take quite a while to sand and scotch the inside of this bonnet. Unfortunately, areas like this, the actual glue from the sticker had eaten into the paint, so I actually had to sand that right the way back just to get it flat again, and it's the same over this area here. Old bonnets can be an absolute pain to prep. Not only are they really awkward to get to all these little nooks and crannies, you've also got contamination issues. And this is from the engine, when the engine's breathing, sometimes you get an oil mist build up. Older cars tend to have a lot more oil mist, and you have to degrease them thoroughly. So to get this degreased thoroughly, one trick that I do use is using a Scotch-Brite pad and actually the panel wipe together, and dipping it in there and kind of really giving it a good scrub and wiping it off with a cloth and then airline it. So there are a couple of little areas of rub through here and there that I do need to kind of put a little spray of primer on there before it goes into paint. But as well as that, where I've actually resealed these areas, just a little spray of primer on those bits of sealant as well. So what I need to do now is prep the insides of the doors. I'm just taking off this old kind of mastic sealant, just with an old cloth and some thinners seems to work quite well, just dissolving it and wiping it off. Another thing I need to do is just take the mechanism out the side of the door here. I'm leaving the hinges on. There's a check strap mech there that I need to remove. But other than that, nothing really else to strip down on this door. So the actual amount of paint that I'll be doing on this is quite minimal. It really is just the sides, the bottom there. These areas here, it actually has a cover that sits over the top here. And I've got a door card that goes pretty much all the way around. But I'm just going to clean this area back here, and the rest of this can just be overspray. And around the top of the door frame here, it's only a small amount that's actually silver. You can see here this is black, and the actual exterior of this frame is black as well. So it's only this section here I need to actually prep. So I'm just loosely masking up the edges of the bonnet on the top, and I've masked over the holes. But what I've been doing, you can see there, it's quite flappy. And this is, I call it a soft edge. I mean, other people may call it other things, but this is so you don't get a hard line of paint like you would if you had just a solid strip of masking on there. And the way you do it, you just pull a bit of tape off and you just fold over about 10 mil. And then you have a flap, and then you can just place it on the panel like that. And then that way, when you paint, you won't actually get a hard edge at all. So I think I'm pretty much ready to put some paint on the inside of this bonnet. I'm just going to give it a quick degrease and then a tack rag, and then we'll go straight on there with some colour and then some clear coat. So that's the underside of the bonnet now painted, and that was a light coat of silver first, and then 2 heavy coats, and then a light coat of clear coat, and then 2 heavy coats. So it did get a bit dark and a bit cold last night, but I soldiered on and I managed to get the inside of the tailgate done. So now that's the tailgate done, I can then move on with getting the inside of those doors painted. So that's the inside of the doors prepped ready for paint. One thing I would like to say is that primer I was using, I've actually been using this product here, and it's a primer, but it also has rust inhibitors in there, so I thought I'd give it a shot. It seems to be pretty good. Probably a good idea if you are dealing with a crusty car to use some sort of primer with a rust inhibitor. Okay, let's get the inside of those doors painted. So it does feel really good just getting some colour on the inside of these panels. And as I was painting it, I was thinking, I didn't really think about the colour, I just wanted it the original colour. But what would you guys have done if you had the car in primer? Would you have changed the colour, or would you have gone for the original gunmetal? Leave a comment. So I'm going to carry on, I'm going to take the wings off, I'm going to start prepping this scuttle panel, but I'm going to leave this video here for today. Thanks for watching as always. See you next time. Cheers!